You know, recently I did a video where I talked about how the fans were kind of split down the middle 50-50 on Starlight Glimmer's involvement and role in the Season 7 finale Shadowplay. Now, one fan did comment on my video and said that another fan of the show, Lily Peet, ranked Shadowplay as the worst episode of the season. Now, a lot of people have the right to their opinion on how they feel about something. There's no doubt about that. You know, I have a lot of critics about me. I have a lot of critics of me that will say how they feel. I have a lot of critics that will come out and say things to me that may be hurtful, rude, and insulting that, yeah, I will hide the comments. I will hide the comments or I'll block them. But despite that, they have a right to say that whether I like it or not. At the same time, I have a right to block them from my channel or hide their comments so I don't have to deal with it. Like I said, you know, they have a right to say how they feel about me just as much as I have a right to hide the comments or block them from my channel. The point is, we all have a right to like or dislike something. When it comes to Starlight Glimmer's character, you know, here's the thing about Starlight. Her character has been around since the beginning of Season 5. Now, true, in Season 5 she was presented as an antagonist, as a villain. But after Season 5, she was, from a continuity standpoint, was given a second chance at life, or a second chance at friendship. And thus, Season 6 was used as her redemption arc, as her redemption season. And now Season 7, to me, was used as a season for her to grow even more so as a character. You know, to really get that character development that a lot of fans felt was very much needed for her in Season 6 if she was going to be redeemed. Now, some fans have said that her redemption and her character development at the same time came full circle in the two-part Season 6 finale, To Where and Back Again. And that might be true, but others have felt that Season 7 is where her character growth really came into play. Because true, she was still learning lessons in friendship even after she had, you know, graduated from being a student to being a pupil, an apprentice of Twilight. You know, she was still learning lessons here and there. Now, I can understand people's feelings about this character. It's like, why is she basically the feeling is, why is she being put in these certain situations when it should be another character? Like with a royal problem. I'm sure a lot of fans were questioning, well, why wasn't it Rarity maybe? And I think the subtle reason it wasn't Rarity is because they wanted to basically continue Starlight's growth as a character and give her that development that was needed. And by having her accidentally switch the princess's cutie marks so they can spend a day in each other's hooves was part of that character development. Because it's basically revealed that that was the main reason she was brought in, to help not only the sisters reconcile with each other and accept each other for what, you know, for who they are and, you know, what their duties are as princesses, but the fact that Starlight being sent there was to, even if by accident, was to allow the sisters to spend a day in each other's shoes or hooves to see how the other dealt with their job and to see that it wasn't easy for the other to deal with said job than the other thought. Like for Celestia, it wasn't easy dealing with the realm of dreams like Luna does than she thought. It wasn't as easy than she thought. Same with Luna. Luna realized that what Celestia does isn't as easy as well. And that's where the appreciation came in, and that's where the friendship lesson was learned, and in a sense, that's where the character growth was a character like Starlight came to be. You know, some people may not, like the fact that, as I mentioned in my review, and I mentioned in my review that I posted at the forums through text, and then later on audio, and then later on camera video, as well as I mentioned in my recent video where I talked about how the fan base was kind of 50-50 on Starlight's role in shadow play. I think the one thing that fans have to look at with her role in there was she was using her past experience as a villain to see past the problem that was in front of them to try to see if there was something more. And the realization was when the cutie map called all of the main six's cutie marks to one location as to say this is where you got to go. She's the one that acknowledges that the cutie map only calls them to a place when it comes to friendship missions. Basically solve a friendship problem. And you might say, well, how does that come into play with her past as a villain? Well, it's not what comes into play as her past as a villain. It's what comes in from her recent events where she was sent on her first friendship mission. And she comes to realize that basically, from what she's learned being under Twilight's tutelage, that basically, and from what she's seen herself, that the cutie map only sends them to certain locations to solve a friendship problem, not to banish evil from the planet or into another dimension. Another thing about Starlight being used in this season, and mostly in Shadowplay the way she was, is she was able to use her past experience as a villain when it came to using one of Starsoul's spells. I mean, here's the thing. When they're at Ponehenge, as she's taking down the vines with her magic, she basically points out that she can't believe Twilight is going to go through with this and try to bring Starswirl and the other pillars back from limbo. And she basically points out that, either they must have had a reason for doing it. They must have had a reason for casting the spell that they did that trapped them and the Pony of Shadows in limbo. And that maybe they shouldn't mess with the spell because maybe there was a reason. And heck, she even mentions her own past experience when she used Starsoul's time travel spell to go back in time and how it nearly ruined the entire universe and basically nearly backfired on her. Basically, Starlight's role in Shadowplay and somewhat in Season 7 was basically to help her character grow and develop, and basically it was to allow her, as part of that growth and development, use her past experience as a villain to kind of help solve a problem. That's what it was. It was to help solve a problem. I mean, yeah, does she still have lessons to learn here and there? Absolutely. Absolutely. But basically, her role in this episode, as well as in this season, when it was necessary, was to use her past experiences as an antagonist to help solve the problem. Because basically, she was looking at it from experienced eyes of being on the other side. She has experience being on the other side, so she could see it from their point of view. She can use that past experience to see it from their point of view and be like, okay, maybe there's something more. Maybe there's more than that's being let on. And I think what some fans like Lily Peet and Toon Critic and Thespio and others have to look at is, first of all, you have a right to not like a character like Starlight. You do have that right. I'm not saying you don't. But I think what you need to do is give characters like Starlight and other characters on the show that you may not like or you may disdain, you got to give them another one. So you got to give them a second look. You got to basically give them that second look and be like, okay, maybe there is something more to this character being focused on and featured than just being shoved down our throats. And when I look at Starlight Glimmer, I see a character that has more to her character, to who she is than just being pushed to the forefront every episode she's in and being made the savior or the hero of the day. You know, I feel that there's more to her character than being led on. And I think a lot of fans, whether they like the character, they're indifferent about the character, or they don't like her, need to give her another glance and give her another once over and be like, oh, and try to kind of think maybe there is something there more than just put her to the forefront, make her the new main character, make her the new Twilight or whatever. And honestly, I think that's, and honestly, I can see, and honestly, what I'm trying to say is, to me, if you take all that and you into account, and like I said, give the character a second look over, you'd be surprised about what you see. There have been many characters throughout history in comics, cartoon shows, movies, you name it, that initially you didn't like at first, but as time went on, you're like, hey, this character is better than I thought. I like this character. Heck, MLP is a good example of it. You know, a lot of fans didn't like Rarity at first, obviously. I mean, Silver Quill basically pointed that out in his Radiant Rarity video. But what happened? As time went on, Rarity became a very popular character amongst the fan base. People loved her. People got a kick out of her because she was more than just a fashionista-like character. There was more to her than what was originally first seen. You know, same with Sunset Shimmer in the Equestria Girl spinoff. Initially, nobody liked her, but as time went on, guess what happened? Rainbow Rocks fully showed that there was more to her than meets the eye. Equestria Games helped establish that. Friendship Games helped establish that. Legend of Everfree, in a sense, helped establish that. So you had mainly three Equestria Girl movies after the first one, mostly the follow-up, Rainbow Rocks, and I think Friendship Games, that helped fully establish the fact that there was more to Sunset Shimmer than originally thought. And if people can go from not liking a character like Sunset Shimmer at first to liking her and basically arguing that, hey, she should be the one in this role that Starlight's in instead of Starlight, then what does that say for someone like Starlight? True. Starlight doesn't have a full-length movie to help her get help her really come out and show that there is more to her than meets the eye, to help her really redeem herself and stuff like that. True, they haven't given her a movie to do so, but I think in time, fans are going to start to slowly like the character. They're going to slowly like who she is and what she is. And if you still don't like her after that, fine. That's your opinion. Or if you become indifferent about her, like maybe you end up becoming split down the middle, like, okay, maybe there is some good things about her and there's some bad things about her still. You know, that's fine. That's your opinion. That's your right. But what I'm getting at, folks, is the reason Starlight is focused on a lot lately, especially here recently in Season 7, is for her character growth and development. The same kind of character growth and development, if you think about it, that characters like Rarity and characters like Sunset Shimmer in their own way got, and look how the fan base has gotten behind them. So, but yeah, that's really all I'm going to say on it. You know, Lily Peet, I'd like to hear what you have to say about this. I'd like to hear what you have to say. Toon Critic, Thespio, let me know what you guys think. But again, I truly believe that the reason Sunset is being put in the position she has been put in, most recently now with Season 7, is because she's using her experience as a villain to kind of see if there's more to the problem than, meets the eye, as well as she's being put in a similar position, in my opinion, as far as character development and growth goes, that Sunset Shimmer was put in and the only reason she's not gaining a following or a following like Sunset did is she wasn't given a movie like Sunset was given in Rainbow Rocks to really firmly establish that she had turned around, had a change of heart, and she was now a better person. She was now a leader. She was now ready to lead by example. So all I ask is this: give Starlight Glimmer's character a second look at, and try to see maybe the similarities as far as character growth and development go when it comes to some character like Sunset Shimmer. And even Rarity, in a sense. I know you might say those are completely different, and that's fine, but kind of look at it that way and tell me what you see that's similar, if not different, and maybe you might have an appreciation or even more of a disdain for this character. Let me know what you think down below. Comment if you like. I am out.